So today's video is a resource for people who suffers from borderline personality disorder. We're going to talk about parts of self. Remember in the past videos we spoke about how people with borderline personality disorder are on the border of psychosis and neurosis, and they have those two personalities. And within those two personalities, there are parts of self that has basically been developed to keep you safe, to help you survive. And they worked when you were a child, but now as an adult, those parts of selves are creating issues. So now we're going to name those parts of selves, and we're going to speak about them and how they affect you now, and how you can improve from those parts of selves. We don't hate those parts of selves. We love those parts of selves because they
Disclaimer alert! Disclaimer alert! Please pause the video and read the disclaimer.
Okay, so I think I might divide this video in two. We'll see if it gets too long. If it gets more than 20 minutes, I will definitely cut it into two pieces. Okay, I think one of the most important thing for you to do if you are a person who suffers from borderline personality disorder is to take an account of your life. Because in my mind, you are a survivor. You learned to feel intense emotions and experience intense situations and come out alive. You do things right now that are self-destructive, but you can move away from those self-destructive selves, right? So if you learn and understand what you're going through or what's happening with you, you have most people with borderline personality self has the abundant self, they have the punitive parent, they have somewhat healthy protective parent, and an angry impulsive self that is also aiming to protect you. Okay, so let's get into it. The abundant child. This is the child between the age of 0 to 18 that was abundant. She was hurt, she's sad, she was abandoned, she was abused. Her biggest issue, or his biggest issue, he or she, whether you're male or female watching this, is safety. This child did not have safety growing up, whether it was emotional safety, physical, psychological, spiritual, or mental safety. She grew up, or he grew up, in a home with people who are abusive, probably around other adults who just didn't care. So the people who were supposed to protect and help this child were the people who abused the child, and everybody around just looked and did nothing to help the child. So this child is sad, she's filled of sorrow, she's filled of fear, she's afraid of rejection, she's afraid of proximity too. She wants to be loved, she wants to be protected, but the adults and the people who were supposed to do that to her were mostly the people who hurt her. So she wants safety, she wants love, she wants connection, she wants relationships, but she's also afraid, or he's afraid, he's afraid of being loved, he's afraid of connecting, because most of those growing up were harmful. And this child, he also struggles with objectification, right? So you know how a child, you put a blanket in front of you and they think you're gone, right? They don't realize you're still there, they just can't see you or your eyes, right? So this person, you grew up to be a person who thinks when people are not around you, they cannot be trusted, or they're not gonna come back. Maybe your mom was a drug addict or was a prostitute. She would go for days at a time and you didn't know where she was, and it seemed like she didn't care what happened to you. So you just learn that, hey, I can trust people. So this is the abundant self. That child in you is still there, and when relationships and comes and life happens and interaction with people happen, you're thinking, I know you, I say you're going to abandon me. They could say something or do something or act or even move or even smell like the people who had abandoned you in the past. It will trigger you and remind you, I can't trust you. So how do we help this abundant self? I would say that the biggest thing is being mindful. I have meditation videos here for a reason, because a lot of mental health issues can be resolved through mindfulness and meditation and yoga, right? So be mindful, learn to little by little, learn to tolerate those uncomfortable feelings, right? You sit, feel the sensories, listen to your body and realize where you are numb and realize where you feel some sensation. Maybe somebody comes and they smell in a way that a person who used to abuse you smelled, right? Realize the sensations in your body and look at the person. Are they going to abuse you? And if they are you that vulnerable? Are you going to just lay there and take it? Are you that vulnerable that you cannot fight just for yourself and put yourself in a safe situation? So try to put yourself in a place where you become rational. You're not that child anymore in that small little body that you cannot protect yourself anymore. Learn to have, and you can do this mostly with therapy. You learn, okay, these are my triggers. Okay, that word, that action, that smell, that movement, that behavior is my triggers. Is it legitimate? Is this person going to hurt me? We don't know. Maybe you do know. But this is where now you learn to act as a rational adult. So this is the punitive parent. So you might have been raised by punitive parents. You know those parents that hate you and then say don't cry. Parents who call you stupid. Parents who beat you up. Parents who degrade and embarrass you in front of your friends, and they make you feel like you're nothing, right? They put you to shame and they call you names. I remember somebody telling me that his dad spit in his face in front of his friends, and he was 14 because they were playing outside and being loud, and he had a hangover, right? He came out, choked him and spit on him and laughed. So somebody who is punitive doesn't care how you feel, and sometimes they might even think that they're protecting you. Realize that inside of you there is probably that punitive parent that is trying to protect you, that's saying don't cry. Somebody hurts you, don't cry. Or you feel fear, I don't feel fear. So you negate and reject your own feelings in a way to try and protect yourself. So you might have had punitive parents, but now you also have that punitive self. So the way to deal with the punitive self is to start healing. Realize, you know what, I don't like how my partner is speaking to me. It hurts my feelings. So try to learn to sit in those feelings and have compassion. You're a human being. You feel all a range of emotions, right? Another thing is I have videos here of understanding emotions and learning the importance of feeling emotions. I will put them in the link below, right? So go to those videos and learn the importance of feeling emotions and allow yourself to feel those range of emotions. You want to cry, allow yourself to cry. And the punitive parent, realize that the punitive parent in you is the part of you that actually makes you feel helpless most of the time, that makes you feel like, oh, I can't take it anymore, because you're bottling everything up so much that you start to become suicidal and you start to become self-destructive, because those human emotions that are part of life, you are denying them. So now it's like you're congested, you can't breathe, you can't be a whole person. Realize that you deserve to be you deserve to be happy, and I think the most important thing that I want you to learn is think of yourself as a whole pipe, right, where all your emotions come through you, in and out, through the ground and up through the sky, as if you're meditating. And if you block one, whether you block happiness or you block joy or you block sadness or you block disappointment or you block fear, then all those other emotions, like say you blocked it here, all those other emotions now are blocked because they have nowhere to go through. So you become a congested person, right? So open up yourself, have the courage. I think healing the punitive parent takes having courage. You're opening yourself up to life, to feeling, to experiences, and trust with the right therapist and the right therapy, you can survive it and you can be a full participating member of the community. So, and then you have that somewhat healthy parent, right? So one of the issues with people with borderline personality disorder is that sometimes they had some, those anxious ambivalent attachers. They have somewhat a good parent, their childhood and their life at home is unpredictable, right? So you have that somewhat healthy parent, sometimes healthy, sometimes not healthy. I think realizing that no parent or no human being is perfect and embracing that healthy parts of you and not scalding them whenever you falter as a human being will induce and make it so that the healthier parts of you become more prevalent in your life and in your relationship and in your work, right? So pay more attention. There's a saying that whatever you pay more attention to grows. So that healthy parts of you, start giving them more attention, start focusing on them, start helping them shine, put them in the light so that they grow. Angry and impulsive self. So this angry self, I want you to love, respect, and thank this part of you. Because this is the part of you that when you were so depressed and you were down and out and you have been overcome by abuse and negative emotion and you were suicidal, this angry and impulsive self said, F you, I deserve the better. I deserve better. You don't get to treat me this way. You don't get to neglect me. You don't get to abuse me. You don't get to abandon me. This is the part of you that fought for you. This is the part of you that kept you alive. And this is a very important part of you. It is malfunctioning right now because you're an adult and you don't have to fight for safety as much. You don't have to fight for survival as much. And even if you do have to fight for safety and for survival, you don't have to throw a tantrum. You can provide your own safety. You can set your own boundaries and tell people, no, not here, not now, not today, thank you. And they can call you crazy because sometimes people, when you set boundaries, they will fight you. But you don't have to do it in such a way that it's impulsive, that you just snap. Like relationships don't just go bad in a snap. It's little things. So you heal this part of you by stopping to ignore the things that annoys you, by paying attention to your triggers, by providing your own safeties, right? Your own shelter, taking care of your money instead of being impulsive, having safe sex. So doing things that will keep you safe, doing things that will give you the safety that you didn't have as a child, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, and otherwise, so that you don't have to fight for them. A lot of people with borderline personality disorder neglect themselves. They don't go to the doctor. They don't go to the dentist. They are obese and they have addiction issues, right? They become so impulsive and so self-destructive because they are fighting. I don't care, right? They've introduced that numbing self that, you're not gonna touch me, I'm gonna fight you, and I'm gonna do whatever I want with my life. That's why they're also becoming suicidal, and they have suicidal aviation, and they don't think they're gonna live long, and they're reckless. But you don't realize that you are actually re-abusing yourself. You're re-traumatizing yourself by doing all these things. So make a conscious decision to take care of yourself. All those things that you didn't have. And I'm not saying go to the extreme of now over shopping and over going to the doctor. I'm saying come back and try to take care of yourself. I go to the dentist twice a year. That's what my dentist wants me to do. I go and do a whole physical once a year. You do that. Those basic things. I don't drink. I never have drank. I grew up around people who are alcoholics, and I hated alcohol since I made a decision when I was 12 that I'll never drink. I never have, right? So, but whatever, go back into your childhood and look, what did I need? And how am I re-traumatizing myself now? And choose to love yourself and to not be that punitive, impulsive, angry, unpredictable person to yourself. And once you start to be predictable to you, you start to learn to love you, you start to have a sense of who you are, your relationships will improve. The quality of the relationships of people who will come in your life will improve. We also have the somatic self, right? That's the part of you that you remember when a lot of people with borderline personality disorder feel intense emotion and they struggle to regulate themselves. So they go like a crazy person trying to figure out, how do I get help? How do I help myself, right? So they then get to a place where they don't feel. They become numb. They're numbing. I don't care. I don't pay attention. I don't see anything. I don't want to deal with this. See you. Goodbye, right? But you can learn to start to feel, to get involved into your own life and to heal yourself. Again, I don't want this video to go longer than 20 minutes. I can go on and on about the parts of self, but I want you to know that the most important thing that I think will start healing you is go to a therapist, try to join DBT, and or get involved with mindfulness or yoga and start to get into your body, start to feel your sensations, start to think and teach yourself that things are not black and white. And all these parts of yourself, try to bring them all together. None of them are bad, none of them are good. They're all parts of you. It's holistic. You are a beautiful human being and the world needs you, and you make the world